Hello, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Socrates, Plato, and you.
I'm your host,
And
Socrates.
I am Plato. And
And I am you.
yeah, that was
I
bad.
am
Too
you.
much?
That's quite the philosophical question. Now you may be wondering, wait a minute, didn't this guy's voice that I've heard before say that he's Blitz and he always will be? Perhaps.
Perhaps not.
Or am I?
Are we secretly time travelers from the past?
Yes, we came thousands of years to the future to one, see if our philosophies of the days of old had any impact, any bearing, any meaning on the world whatsoever. And I'm quite disappointed to say that people have forgotten about us.
And yes, I just came from the 70s, and. Oh,
The 70s. Didn't
yeah.
you just say you were thousands of years old and probably didn't go to your own funeral?
Well, he did. I didn't. I just came from the 70s because we saw Kong Skull Island, and.
So we got transported to
Whew,
the 70s for 2 hours?
yeah, it's a solid
Hmm.
assessment. That movie, oh man, I loved it. I enjoyed it.
I very much enjoyed it. I
It's
think Metacritic should have given it a better score, but that's the opinions of people.
Metacritic doesn't actually give it a score. It's the average of
It's
all the other
I
the
know
score
what it
sites.
average of
is.
all the,
So
yeah.
That's why I
then
said it's an opinion.
everyone else should have given it a better score then, if that's what you're trying to say.
Maybe other people did.
Well, it doesn't
Well, you
matter.
know what?
If you enjoyed a movie, who cares what other people think about it?
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody is entitled to their opinion. But here's the thing. I have to ask the question, is modern society too opinionated?
In all honesty, I can probably say yes, because everyone's got an opinion. Everybody thinks that their opinion's always the best. And this is just my opinion.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Sacrilege. No. So, in all honesty, the way that people probably think is that, oh, my opinion is what I'm going to stick with. And if you don't, I'm probably going to try and force my opinion onto you. In all honesty, I don't care. If you say that, oh yeah, I believe that this video of an alien attack from 10 years ago is real, and I absolutely believe it, I'll probably say you're crazy, and that if you do a little bit of research, you'll find that it's not real. But whatever. You believe what you believe. I don't care.
I don't know. I think you can't be too opinionated.
Oh, really?
Everyone should have an opinion on everything. The problem comes when you either won't listen to other people's opinions and or you start harming others.
Hmm.
Like the
Fascinating.
government
Yeah.
in all its literal
Where
stupidity.
there is an official government ban on this podcast. Unless
Very
something
well.
incredibly stupid happens. And I'll
There's a
probably
lot of
say,
that.
well, yes, but I'm talking like he pushed a big shiny button that says nukem on it or something like that. At that point in time, then yes, we probably will talk about it. But
Fine.
as of right now, it's just some dude in a big building.
No, he thinks he's big.
Right.
Is that too much?
No, it's just the big
Right.
building. But,
So,
whatever.
so my take on this topic, and I was the brilliant mastermind behind this topic.
You're the mastermind behind this
Oh,
whole episode.
that's giving me too much credit.
No, not really.
Anyway, anyway, my take on this topic is, as a good philosopher, I'm going to answer the question by not actually answering the question.
Oh my
Is
god.
that giving the question? Would that give the question too much credit?
Oh wait,
So,
we're still going with that gimmick? I thought
dude,
it was
I'm going
just
with
the
it.
intro. Okay.
I'm going the whole episode,
Okay.
buddy.
All
I'm
right.
going the whole episode with that gimmick. Doesn't mean you have to, but I'm going with it.
All right.
So, as a philosopher, I see this question being equally answered yes and no. Here's why yes. I do believe that people are way too opinionated in modern society. I believe that we live in an era where freedom of speech has never been exercised more freely, more abundantly, and more shamelessly. Now, before you go around and call me a communist or a fascist or an authoritarian, let me just say this. Freedom of speech is good. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have this podcast to begin with, but it's very good. But I think that it's the issue isn't that people have opinions. To me, the issue is that people feel the need to weigh in on something often when they don't know what they're talking about. I feel like a lot of times something happens, and whether it's something that the president does or something that a celebrity does or something that a movie director does or something that some police officer does, whatever it is, if it's tragic, if it's entertainment, you get all these people who come out of the woodwork and they beat their chests and they're like, yeah, I have an opinion on this and I'm going to make my voice heard. And they go on to their outlets of media. They go on to the YouTube, the Twitter, the Facebook, the Reddit.
Instagram.
They go Instagram. They
Oh,
go on to all of these things that I don't use, save YouTube, and they just go out and they say, yes, I have to make my opinion known, no matter what the issue is. It just feels like every time something happens, somebody has to say something about it. And by somebody, I mean everybody. Everybody's saying something about it. And even not even on social media, sometimes just like in the workplace or in your own family. Something happens, people have to talk about it.
Yo,
And my question is,
people be
why?
crazy.
doesn't
Why? See, if you ask me, my belief is that it's okay to not have an opinion on something. Oh my
Or
gosh, did I really just say that?
or at least just like shamelessly
Keep it to
promote your
yourself.
opinion.
if everyone is saying something, doesn't that make it harder for everyone to be heard? With
Or
all,
make sense. Because at that point
Right.
in time, you're just like a mob
it's just
almost.
like white noise.
Which you're a wizard, because that's my no reason.
Hey.
But I'll get to
Not adding to the
but
mob
but
as
but I
Marshall said.
but I will get to that. Anyway, so my bottom line is that it's okay to not have an opinion on something. It's okay to go see a movie, walk out and say, meh, it is what it is. It's okay to, for some event to happen in real life and say, yeah, that's unfortunate, but I don't really know all the details and I don't know who's right and who's wrong here, and I'm not going to cast judgment.
Maybe.
It's okay to keep things to yourself. You know, I have an opinion on how the presidential election went. You want to know what it is? Too bad, I'm not going to tell you. You know why? Because I think some things are better left unsaid.
Because I have a ban on
I
politics.
Well, no, I mean that is part of the reason, but the other reason is that, simply put, I haven't told anybody what I think on it, and I never will because I don't think it matters. If I say something about a topic like that, nothing good can come from it because people just go so crazy. And I'm not saying that I should never say anything. If I'm seeing some kind of an injustice, then yeah, I'm going to say something about it. But there's some things that you can't deal with. And you say, oh, well, then people are just going to run your life and everything. Not really. You know something?
Not if you don't let it.
I grew up as a social outcast. Okay? I was not the cool kid. But you know what that means? I have an advantage. I never had to please anyone. I never had to live my life where everybody needed to see that I was the cool guy. I didn't have to make decisions on what I wear, on what I do, on who I talk to, and make it known that I say this and I support this and I wave this banner and I believe in this and I support this cause. I don't need to do that because it's not who I am. So it's okay to have your own opinion. And the funny thing is, just as you were saying, there's mob mentality. And that's why I think that, ironically, people don't have enough opinion. Because what happens? All these people come out of the woodwork, they start saying stuff, and then all these people jump on the bandwagon. They rah rah, let's go team. Yeah, yeah. Let's get these people who don't agree with us. Let's be condescending and talk down on anybody who disagrees with what we believe in. Rah rah, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's start riots. Let's go make it do a protest. Let's go do that. You know what? Protesting is good and freedom of speech is good and everything. And if you're active in all that,
And
that's
actually
good. But
getting
I would
something done.
Exactly. If you're just going out and just joining the mob, just being a faceless person in the crowd, what are you accomplishing? You're kind of just wasting your time, aren't you? I mean, it's one thing to make a difference. It's another thing to just like say, "Oh, millions of other people are tweeting about this. I'm going to tweet it too." And maybe you have something really good to contribute. And if you do, that's great. But if you're just going to go on and say you see somebody say something and you don't like it and you just like you're an asshole. Okay, that's not an opinion. And why did you even have to say that to begin with? You know what I mean? It's just like it's that kind of nonsense. And I think a lot of times people don't have an opinion. Oh, that movie sucked. Did you see it? No, but everyone else said it did. Or, oh, I'm not going to play that game because everybody's got bad reviews. Or, oh, I'm not going to, do this or that because nobody else does it. Or everyone does this, so I'm going to do it too. I don't know. Just to me, it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to have an opinion. And I'm not saying that nobody should say anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying be mindful of what you speak about. And if you're going to contribute to a conversation, know what you're talking about. Because otherwise, you're just part of a mob. And I'm sorry, you're just one out of millions of people. So get an opinion and know when to share it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and especially knowing when to share it goes back to the whole um philosophical insight, so you will, from yours truly, Plato. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, but you gotta know when to share
Okay, that's going to
Yes. Did
lead
you
a
have
bit
to
crazy.
use that
We
as
haven't
reference?
we haven't
Yes.
even done the anime game yet. So
it. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Has that been seeping into your mind, corrupting you? I've noticed you've been thinking about it more than I have.
No, I'm just thinking of how to
Perhaps,
like make it funny.
perhaps that was my plan all along, though, to see if I would get you to blindly
Oh,
follow suit into something that you really don't want to do.
No, I want to do this because
I believe that.
I was because before all this I was honest to God trying to come up with a script for an abridged series and
Oh,
whatnot.
that's right. I completely forgot about
Yeah,
that.
I
right.
think he gave up on it.
I did because it's
Like many things.
no, it's an
I have
insane
too.
amount
I
of
have.
work.
Mhm.
I I would need a
Whole cast of people.
well, yeah, a whole cast of people. I would need software that I don't have currently, and
Mhm.
I need skills that I also don't have. And there are people who spend years learning this stuff and they still just barely get by.
Like Purple Eyes?
Not even them, just anybody in general. There's people
Mhm.
who spend years learning this stuff and still honing their craft and whatnot. And it's constantly evolving.
Right.
And
So it begs, go ahead, finish your
there's
thought.
always like new ways of doing different things. And like take Team Four Star, shameless plug for them, I guess. They have their newest miniseries, Cell Versus, is done by a completely different editor, so that way they can focus on their main episodes. And when he was sending
Mm-hmm.
his stuff to them, they're like, "Wow, I didn't even know you could do this. That's a whole new thing to try out." And so it's like it's a trying to do something like that. It's a very much communal thing where you either got to know someone who does it or get in contact with them and say, "Hey, how would you go about making this happen?" Or "How do you start doing this?" and whatnot. And it's a ridiculous amount of time. And like I said, I don't have the skills for it. I don't have the software. I don't even have the contacts for it to
Right.
get it out there or anything. I would absolutely love to do it, and I know, thinking back, I had some pretty good stuff. At least I think I had some good stuff. You
You
know,
probably did.
obviously, my opinion.
I think you did. My opinion.
Yeah. You can't see me because I don't have a webcam, but I just shrugged there for a solid second, waiting for you two to react. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I honestly thought I had some good stuff. It's just, I honestly don't have the resources to do something like that. Or
So
to
as a
go
so as a pondering man, as a philosopher, what you would
philosopher.
describe what yes. Yes, I'm like that raptor who's scratching his chin and looking off into the
Velociraptor.
distance. Velociraptor. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, it begs the question to me, what you've just described. How willing are you to go to do something that interests you, yet you have no talent or skill or knowledge of it whatsoever?
I don't understand the question.
See, all right, I will explain the question. Here's the
please do.
thing. At least for me personally, there's so many things that I want to do. And I've been going through a minor
Midlife
first
crisis.
world first world problems crisis. Except hopefully I'm not at the middle of my life at this point. But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
Marshall.
you could call it a midlife crisis. Um, I don't know what I want to do. See, here's the thing. I've come on this show and I've said, yeah, I'm making a game. Yeah, I'm helping write that book. Yeah, I'm playing my guitar. I don't know if I mentioned, but yeah, I've studied foreign languages before and I actually want to be fluent in at least one besides Spanish, and I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I'd like to move on. Anyway,
I,
here's the thing. I got all these great ideas, right? And I usually start working on them for maybe a few days, and then my interest slips to something else, and then it slips to something else, and then consequently, nothing ever gets done. So the question I was thinking, I'm like, if I was to pick one of these things, how far would I be willing to go? Let's say that I want to be a great musical composer. Would I be willing to, one, play the instruments that I have on hand every day for at least an hour, minimum, practicing my technique? Two, would I be willing to go out and buy an instrument that I've never played before and take lessons in it? And then would I be willing to go and buy the sheet music for stuff and study it and see how they crafted it? And then would I be willing to experiment, write music, perform it, have people criticize it, go back, write it again, have people criticize it? Would I be willing to take my quote unquote talents to a big performance? Could I convince a place to let me perform a show? Could I write a music album? Where does it stop? Where does it end? I'm interested in music, but how far am I willing to go? That's the problem. See, I have the guitars, and I can go on the internet and I can research some basic music theory and everything. But then, I start thinking, okay, if I want to upgrade, I want to get a better guitar, that's going to cost me some money. Do I actually play it enough right now? The answer is no. So should I just stop there? Should I give up? Because that's the thing. As much as I would love to, say, compose an entire music album, if I'm not willing to invest in the equipment, what's the point in putting the effort in? Do you see where the dilemma is?
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a
So like
circle.
you were describing the same thing with abridged, and that's just one thing that you were interested in doing. But you just said like as much as you would love to do it, you realize you have to know people, you have to invest in the equipment, the software. You need to get people who are willing to help you. You need to be witty enough to write the script. So where does it end for you?
Yeah, unfortunately, the way it goes, like it it honestly doesn't stop there. It keeps going. For one, I would have had to have this mic if I was gonna do it, cause
Hmm.
I know there's one set of people who out there who use Blue Yetis. But the thing is, they have their own office. They're not just in an apartment anymore. They've been doing it for long enough where they have their own office. They have their own, not their own building, but they've got a decent office. They've got a sound booth. They've got recording panels and everything. They have a set of people, a group of people that does the script. They have a group of a team of people who edits the episodes, and then they have a team of people doing all the voices and whatnot. And it's not just one person doing one voice and that's it. No, it's one person doing multiple voices, and it's very talented. And sometimes you don't even realize, oh, that's so and so. Oh wow, I didn't even know they could do something like this. And it's amazing when they do it, because
Yeah.
sometimes you don't even realize it. And other times it's like, oh, that's just so and so. That's kind of awesome. But then it's like, I had no clue. And it's,
Right.
as
And
far
then
as
it goes even
I'm
further,
concerned,
right?
I'm just
It goes
one
even
guy.
further.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is like, how are you going to fund it? Are you going to,
That's the
that's
real
another thing,
kicker.
right? So
Is
I
if I
guess, I
brought
guess
on a
the,
team, I would have to
mhm.
fund myself somehow and
And
fund the
probably the
team.
people. Yeah, exactly.
And
And
the
that's the
funny
thing,
thing,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
uh, the the funny thing is that I happened to see a picture um, earlier today online, and it was of a website that said, "Sorry, this website is unavailable because the manager felt like not paying the website manager, whatever, the website creator. So it's now down. Please go somewhere else if you want a cab or to do something like this." So the guy who created the website took down the website, put up his own thing saying, "Click here for a list of other similar um,
Services.
services." Yeah. And so it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to pay a team of people. There's no way. I mean, I've got my own bills. I've got a kid that I have to provide for. You know,
Hmm.
living my own life, and I was really already a part of something like that where I had a small group of people, literally two, and at the end there one person working for me for a lounge that me and a friend went in on. And
Hmm.
like hearing about it, it's like we couldn't pay for anything because we weren't getting any money. And that's it. It sucks because my supervisor always tells me like, "Hey, you want to go on that trip? You go on that trip. You go. You live your life. You go do things with your son. You know, don't sit here and work yourself to death. You know, you go do what you want to do." But the really crappy thing is that I need to be working myself to death. I need to be putting in a ton of hours in order to have, just what I want now. And it
Hmm.
truly sucks. And I hate it. And it just makes me, think about all the things that I want to do. I want to drive through Canada to go to Maine for a weekend festival of over 22 concerts,
Which is not going to happen for us
which
anymore.
which isn't going to happen
Yeah.
anymore, at least as of right now, until something gets cleared up. And I probably won't know for like another 2 weeks. But that's on me trying to figure something else out. And then I think about, oh yeah, well if I go to Maine and do all of that, I won't have enough savings to keep paying my own bills and doing my own stuff to do my other vacation that I want to do, which is to take a train ride out to Colorado. Take a sleeper car out there, stay in the Stanley Hotel, that haunted hotel that we talked about a few weeks ago, and the
Hmm.
Stephen King hotel, essentially, the Shining one, and then stay out there for a week and then fly back. Like, I wouldn't be able to pay for that because going to Maine, it's freakishly a similar amount of time. It's 15 hours
Hmm.
compared to 19, but I would have to be paying for gas, and we'd have to find a hotel out there or something.
Hmm.
It'd be July. Maybe we could find a campground near there. But I mean,
Yeah.
it it sucks. In all honesty, like the limit on anything that you'd be able to do is this sad truth is if you're able to provide for yourself.
Right.
I would say
Yeah.
the first things first is that if you're able to live comfortably and not have that many problems, go do it. Like, I get it. I keep saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to write this. I'm going to write this." Yeah, I've written some stuff and whatnot, but half the time if I'm getting home from work, I just come home, run through the shower. When I sit down, it's like, man, I really don't feel like doing anything else. So
Yeah,
I
that's fair.
I think if
So,
if I wouldn't have to worry about work, if I could just say, you know what, guys, I'm out. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gone. If I could do that and not have a care in the world, like if I would have done this 2, 3 years ago when I was serious about writing, or if I was as serious about wanting to write this as I was, you know, 3, 4 years ago, where I didn't really have that much of a care, could I have like walked out and just gone traveling, writing along the way? Probably, if
Well,
I had enough savings, but right now I can't. I mean,
yeah.
I got a family, I've got my own place. There's no logical way that I could do that safely without like harming my situation, my living
Yeah.
situation.
yeah,
So
do it on the
so I
weekend.
guess
Thank you.
so I guess what I was getting at with the topic then, and thank you for the insight and the realism, and I'm going to go more abstract and unrealistic here, is that I guess what I was getting at is that barring any realistic limitations to something. So let's say that everything you just described, right? You didn't have to worry about any of it. Would you still be willing to go the distance to do something that you want to do, or do you honestly feel that you would at some point become discouraged and say, "Dang, this is a lot of work, and I would really miss everything else." Like
Oh no.
if I was to quit my job and pursue a career as a musician, like I feel like as much as I feel like this is my opinion, no comment at all. We're not doing that gimmick anymore. Okay,
You just get
this is just
silence.
yeah. This is just my opinion. I believe that I can do anything. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I believe that there is nothing that I cannot do. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that anything that I try, I will be good at or ever be good at it, but I can at least try it.
And you could at
But the
least say
thing,
that I did this.
right, exactly. But the problem is that to me, for me personally, I would not be satisfied with just simply trying it. If that was the case, I would never even brought up this question. You know, I can say I've tried playing guitar. I can say I've tried studying foreign language. I can say I've tried drawing. I've tried writing. But you know what? That's not good enough for me because I didn't really accomplish anything. And that's kind of what sucks about it. And it's like the problem is when I start getting committed to something, I end up backing off of it. And I'm not sure why. I've never been able to answer that question. And I don't know if anybody out there is like that too. If you just there's no real like for me there's no real good reason why I feel like there's no real good reason why I haven't done something that I want to do other than I simply just I don't it's not so much even it's not even lack of motivation. Like I really want to do these things. It's just that I don't know what it is.
Could it be
I don't
perhaps
I don't
you just decided to conform to society and say, well, I need to have a job. I need to be living on my own. I need to be doing something outside of it or
yeah.
picking
I
up a
mean those things
weed.
are necessary. Yeah. Those things are necessary, but I'm saying I'm fortunate that I could still pursue something on the side to some extent. But I think the answer, this is the only answer that I can reasonably come up with, is that I'm afraid of committing to something because I feel like I would lose out on everything else. I think that's what the problem is. I feel like if I decided to, I'll just keep using the example of music. If I decided to like make music a serious hobby and I invest a lot of money and I invest a lot of time in it, I would just have to kiss the book goodbye. I would have to anything else, the foreign language study, no, I'm going to be studying music. I don't have time to study that. And I think that's the problem. I'm interested in too many things, and I'm not willing to commit to any of them because I want to dabble into each one. But the ironic thing and the cruel thing about it is that the more stuff I dabble into, the more I want to get into them. But then I don't want to get into them too much because then I'll be missing out on all those other things that are really awesome that I want to do.
You're like me with video games.
Yeah, video games
Because
is the one thing that mostly I've been able to give up, which is kind of funny, but yeah. No, I mean that's like, yeah, you're right though, because I've always mocked you for that, jokingly, of course, but I always like, oh, hey, look, Marshall just bought a game on Steam. If I had to place an over/under bet on how much time he'll put into it, I'd set it at 2.5 hours. And I'm sure if I went on Steam right now and looked at your library, you probably have over 10 games that you've played less than 2 hours on.
38 minutes, 3 hours, none. Oh, wait, nope, that's 11 hours. That's 30
That's
hours.
surprisingly a lot for you.
That's 75 hours. 14 minutes, 3 hours, 92 minutes. There's one on
So,
here that
so,
legitimately says 2 minutes.
so,
Excuse me,
I
sorry about
mean,
that.
yeah. And ironically, games are the one thing that I was always committed to. And that's why I've kind of gone sick of them, and I don't really have any interest in new games anymore. Because, like, let's read this off. Ready? My top games that I played: 419 hours, 401 hours. Let's see, where is that other one? 391 hours. And there's one on that I don't have on Steam that I'm guessing is probably close to 500. And I know that games that I've played on other systems, I put well over 300 on it. So I used to get really into games, and I think that's why I have like such an interest in like developing them now. It's because it's like playing games doesn't excite me anymore because I've just been like I'm just worn out of them committing to them long term. I want to do stuff. And in the past that was always the problem. Like, oh, I want to write, but man, Skyrim's looking good right now. Oh, I want to draw, but man, Age of Wonders, I got to play that game. Oh, I could be playing my guitar, but man, Europa Universalis, whoo, there's something I want to try in that game that I haven't yet. So, I don't know. I I guess the question for the audience is there anything that you're really interested in that you don't have any experience in right now? And could you tell us what would go into it to go the distance to be fully committed to it? And at what point do you honestly believe that you would just say, yeah, this is too much for me? I mean, everybody could say, yeah, I'm going to go the distance, but just try to be honest.
I'm super depressed right now.
Because
I'm
you
de-
realize all
yeah,
your flaws.
I'm depressed as hell.
Well, don't worry because we've got one more topic for tonight, and
And even then, it only applies to one of us, unless there's something that we don't know
it
about.
it it theoretically applies to me.
It doesn't seem like it would
Again,
take very
as
long to
as
Oh,
explain.
wait, is this from the past
as
though?
a as a philosopher,
You can answer
whenever I
too.
speak as a philosopher, whenever I speak about things, I don't speak from experience because I'm speculating. And two, I speak in abstract terms
Okay.
to the point where reality isn't reality,
So
which is
then,
why
Mr.
I have to
Socrates,
question something. Okay.
uh, how, why do men always seem to be the initiators of relationships? Okay, you know what? I gotta ask you
I
this.
can answer.
Just why? Not the question. Why the subject? I want to know that story because you texted me this at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I want to know this too.
Because Chrissy came in and my phone's just losing its mind. She's like, "Why the hell is your phone on? It's 1 o'clock in the morning."
Oh,
Like, I don't know.
your answer was funny.
What did I say?
To get you up in the morning. I said, that's in 5 hours.
See, I don't think I was paying attention, and I thought it was like 5 o'clock, and so I'm like, "Oh my god, shut up!" And I'm like slamming my phone on the bed, and like pressing the power button, and I'm like, "All right, back to sleep." 2 seconds later, I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I look at it, I'm like, "Damn you, Matt! Hopefully this is it. There's 3 messages. I don't know what it says. I'll talk to you in the morning." But
Oh man, if I
so
would have known that, I would have sent another one.
I think
No,
I
I'm
was
not
I
that
was like
trolling.
one more
Or
message away
am
from just
I?
texting all caps, "Screw you, leave me alone."
So, anything in it that you want to
See,
share?
now, if I was a certain other individual, I would have pushed you that far, but I'm nice enough where I don't.
Oh,
Of
speaking of that
course,
other individual,
I could really go for some up gamers right now.
I hate you so much. Speaking of that other individual, which
Hmm.
surprisingly hasn't shown up yet today, but when we went and saw Logan, I was sitting
Hmm.
there and all of a sudden I just feel my phone go off and it's like, like, okay, hit the power button, zzz, zzz, power button, zzz, zzz, power button, zzz, 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 zzz. Like, what is going on? I pull out my phone in the middle of the movie. I feel like an asshole. I'm
And
like,
it's that other guy
I'm like
that we know.
holding it in. I'm like, "Jacob, I swear to God, you send me one more. Zzz, zzz. All right, that's it. Turn it off. Leave it. Leave me alone. I'm watching a superhero movie right now." And so
Okay.
when we finally got out, I look at him and it's just a bunch of stupid pictures. I'm like, you were wasting my time, man. So
All
yes,
right. I've had
explain
enough
to
of
me
a
the
good laugh
backstory.
here. Okay. As a philosopher, I'm going to answer the question by not really answering the question
Oh,
because
okay.
that's what good philosophers do.
Take a drink
So you
every time
ask
he says that, everybody.
so you ask me why the subject, and I ask you why not. See, I'm a thinking man, and maybe it's because I live by myself and because there's no one
Socrates is
around.
feeling a little lonely tonight.
Yeah. So so I was pondering the ways of the universe.
Oh,
And I was thinking about how, you know, there's all this crap that goes on, like, for example, that game that we're going to dub, and it's like, okay, we're going to show some ridiculous fan service, and all the characters in this game are female. Yeah. And then, and I was thinking about that and everything, and it's like, man, they're really cruel to those women. It's like kind of making them like objects, kind of. And it's just like, yeah, look at these cute girls and everything, and blah, 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 and everything. And then I was like, if I was a lady, I wouldn't stand for that. And then I was
Well, it's
thinking,
anime.
you know what?
Oh,
And then I was thinking even further, you know what? Now that I think about it, why is our society like that? Because here's the thing. We live in the 21st century. We live in a time where freedom of speech is exercised more freely than ever. We live in a time where, although it's not perfect, rights are more equal than they ever used to be. And, historically, in many societies, women have not been treated very well. Even in this country, they were the last ones to receive the right to vote. and blah 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 and so on and so forth. And then, now these days you have women who are getting full college degrees, who are holding very high office in corporations. Heck, you're seeing around the world women be, like in Germany, the highest person in political office. So it's like, okay, so that's good because I've always contended that, at least from a mental standpoint, I don't think there's anything that a man can do that a woman can't do, and vice versa. I think mentally, my opinion is that people are equal. So the question is then, what's with this society norm? Why is it that men have to be the initiators of relationships? Because, when you think about it, okay, what's the cliche, right? The cliche is the girl's waiting around for Prince Charming to come, sweep her off her feet, and carry her out into the sunset. Is that really what girls want? I mean, maybe it is. We have a lady on this show. Does that
I
sound
was hoping
amazingly
the answer.
awesome to you?
It sounds like a fairy tale. Like it. I
But
don't believe it would happen. Yeah, it
right, so
sounds nice, but
okay,
impossible.
so that's what I was looking for, right? So you said it's not realistic, it's not pragmatic. So why it seems to me like that's what happens though. Like it seems like, oh, if a lady likes someone, is it so wrong for her to be the one to go up to the guy and ask him out? Is it
Well,
really that hard?
at
You
that
know, you
point,
know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't answer the question completely.
Go
well,
ahead, answer it.
we're being philosophical.
Well,
Yes,
I think people are still in somewhat of the mindset of the 50s where men had all the power because even like with toys, there's certain things that girls play with and certain things that boys are still
that
expected to
is
play with.
true.
But okay, so she's saying that the whole fairy tale, Prince Charming, all that blah blah crap is unrealistic,
Sometimes.
and that
Or is it?
and that it doesn't seem very likely that a guy will come up and try and ask a girl out and whatnot, or
And win her
confess his
heart
true
and
feelings and stuff.
yeah.
But when he does, what honestly happens realistically is that she'll just say, okay, and then just completely disappear and leave the guy standing in his eighth grade hallway,
Well, maybe this is what you get when the girl is
dumbfounded.
also a social outcast and is expected to be bullied.
Oh,
Yes,
oh
I am
man,
public
you took
shaming
that in
her.
a, you took that in a completely different direction than I was expecting.
Are you
That is
gonna
awesome.
take that
That is
out on me at
amazing.
every chance
Oh,
possible?
Yes.
oh, oh, oh
So,
man.
long story short, those who are probably thinking, like, the hell's this guy talking about? When I first originally told Chrissy that I liked her, more than a friend, all I got was sort of a dumbfounded expression saying, okay. She walked away, didn't say anything else, and that was it. Didn't talk to her for about a week. And then we just, like, left it at that. And it's like, okay, whatever. Friends now.
Because when I was bullied before, I would just try and play it off like it was no big deal.
So you thought that he was bullying you, like
She
like
thought someone
insulting you?
put me up to it. And in all
Okay.
honesty, it was Eric who did put me up to it, but only after he was asking me, don't you have a girl that you like? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I like Chrissy. I've known her for a few years. Go tell her. Go tell her. I'm not letting you go home until you tell her. And so when I walked out and he's like, did you tell her? I'm like, yeah. What happened? She walked away. Thanks, asshole. Then I walked home.
Okay, but so that's a funny story, and thank you for being willing to share that. So
Oh,
He
I'm
loves
just saying,
sharing
I'm
it.
always willing to
but
share
That's the
that story.
okay,
problem.
but okay, so I guess getting back so we can get a little bit back onto the topic here.
Yes.
Is it really that hard or that wrong for the lady to make the first move? I mean,
No.
clearly, if that okay, so then
That's why we have Tinder.
okay, okay, then I'm gonna go here, and I'm not making excuses, but it's very obvious that I don't have a lady, and if that were the case, I believe that I would have one because there's been many girls who have liked me, and I was a big loser and a wimp and didn't want to tell them how I really felt. And that kind of has more or less a reason to do with my current situation. But if I was like, if even one of them would have broke that norm and just said, dude, let's just go out or something, I would have said yes. But, I was the wimpy, not very manly guy, and I was too brooding, and I overthought things, and
But
I paid dearly for it.
wait.
But the thing is, but I'm just saying though, it's like, is it really that hard? And, I see it even on TV with commercials and stuff. Okay,
I have a
what do you
commercial.
Time out
always
real
see?
quick. Time out real quick
Okay,
though.
okay.
Did you not just say that you've had multiple girls say that they liked you? Or did I just hear that wrong?
Said
They
there's been
they never said it to my face, but I knew. I could see it in their eyes. I could tell. I could
I didn't know you were
seriously.
such a
I could.
romantic.
I seriously. It was very obvious because they used to the ones that would always be like kind of. I've had times where, gosh, there was one time where there was one girl that was like, my friend has something to tell you, and her friend was a girl, and she's like, no, I got nothing to say. But so I don't know if they were trying to put it up to that. I've also had times where some lady was not lady, it was all right. I say lady now because that's what I'm used to saying. But like in high school, girls, I had somebody who grabbed me all the time. It was very uncomfortable and very awkward, and I didn't
Was it
like
really
that. But
forceful?
but no, it was not. It was noticeable, and it was intentional. There was
I
no mistake about
I
it.
I'm just
I'm
not
having
gonna
a
open my
hard
mouth.
time
I can't.
imagining that.
Yeah, exactly. Because see, that's the thing. There's maybe it's not that ladies aren't willing to take the first step. Maybe it's that guys like me, there's a perception about them that they're standoffish. There's a perception about them that they're closed-minded, that they're closed off, that they don't want to be social. And
Or they're
clearly,
just
if that
shy.
is if that is the case, then I'm in a world of pain right now because that is not who I am at all. But clearly,
I think
as I
Matt's
can
leading
tell from your reactions,
I
I
think Matt's
think
leading a second life. He's secretly a total player like Hugh Hefner. He's got a different girl
no,
every week.
no, that is not true at all. I can honestly say that is not true. But again, my point is, I
I
just
wonder how
I
his
always wondered.
Tinder profile would be.
No, but seriously though, it is true though. It is true that I've had multiple girls that really liked me before, and I was the big loser that didn't want to tell them, hey, you know what? I kind of like them too,
I wonder what his
and it
answer
was
would be.
like, and it, part of me was kind of waiting for them because I'm like, you know what? If she's got the audacity to break the norm and approach me
That might be the
rather than
wrong word, the audacity. That sounds like, oh, how
hey,
dare you?
well, that's what I'm saying though, because to me, I say audacity because it seems like this kind of
Right.
thing never happens.
Right.
So
There
it's
you
I
go.
say that
Okay.
not meaning I mean I'm not saying that I believe it should never be like that. I'm just saying that it seems like to me there's a perception of
Maybe
society's rule
it's
as it can't be like that. So I was just saying like if there is ever someone who is willing to break the norm and approach me, I would appreciate that. But it's clearly not the case, and I'm just the loser who's on his own, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, like, I even see it though, like, it's even reinforced by the crap that you read and you see. Like, who's the one who's buying the ring and kneeling down and presenting it to the other person? If
Sauron?
if
That's
you're
what the.
if you're if you're yeah, okay, if
I have a
you are
commercial about that.
if you are in the audience and you're listening to us for whatever reason,
Because
and
there's
you're a
one
woman
now.
and you're the one who proposed marriage, please tell me. Please let me know that story because I would love to hear that. I would love to hear a story of the woman being the one buying the ring and proposing to her man
There
because I don't
was.
think that happens. I don't. And is it
Actually, I
wrong?
saw it.
Am I just like completely out of left field? Am I just completely so wrong on this?
Yeah,
My
because
take is
there
so
are
bad on this.
women who go and propose. What's the commercial that you're talking about?
It was for Dove. There was this couple at a Chinese restaurant. Guy gets a fortune cookie that says, "Alex, will you marry me?" And the girl gets down on one knee and hands him a ring.
Like, guess what, honey? You taking my name.
Maybe it's just that there's a
But
perception
but we're
of.
but okay, but we're so was this commercial mocking that idea, or were they actually trying to present it as like a legitimate thing that could
It
happen?
was a legitimate thing
It
because it
Okay,
was
so they
for
weren't actually
deodorant.
like making a joke out of it and
no.
mocking it.
No, it
Because I
was
mean,
for
like,
deodorant.
I was for okay, so see, that's the thing, right? Now that see that goes back to the whole thing of, oh, so it's deodorant. So if you wear this deodorant, you'll smell nice and the ladies will love you.
No,
That's see,
it was lady
I want some
deodorant. It was lady deodorant.
lady. Okay.
For when you're stressed out, and this will help you not
Okay. All
smell.
right. I guess what I'm saying
That's
is it
actually a
really that?
very practical application for that, actually, where it's like, oh, no stress sweat. It's like, all right, I'm gonna be the one proposing to a guy if I'm the
Which
woman.
never happens. Yeah. Or does it happen? I don't know. Maybe I'm
It
just
does
wrong. I
happen. You're
I just don't realize it. Okay.
Like,
you're in a
I'm
box on this, and
leap
you
year?
most
haven't
okay.
seen.
What was
Most
that about?
okay. So that's the thing, right? Okay. So I'm okay with being 100% wrong with my take on this because I honestly, as a philosopher, I'm not speaking from experience, I'm speculating. So I'm okay if I'm completely wrong on this and this really does happen and I just haven't seen it.
I have a possible
I would just
explanation.
like to know. Like, I just want to know, does this kind of thing happen, or is it just like an unwritten rule that it's like, oh, well, you're a guy, you have to man up and be the one that's the initiator of the relationship. Like, I don't know. I was just fascinated by the topic, and being a thinking man, everything is pretty much fair game for me. So that's why I brought up the topic because I was like, huh, that's an interesting thing that we could talk about. We actually have a lady on the show who can give me some insight that I couldn't possibly ever have. So I appreciate that.
Also, maybe it causes a perception of who wears the pants in the relationship, and men are
Why is
supposed
that a
to.
problem, though?
That's probably like the 50s mentality where the man would wear the pants and have a
But
job.
okay, but are we living in the 50s right now?
Some people are like
Some people don't like change.
mass media. You don't want
Yeah,
to
I
offend
guess.
anyone.
I mean,
In all honesty, if we want to talk about like massive cultural differences, like
mhm.
I work with a man who was born in India. He's been in the states for I want to say half of his life now, 19 years, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And it's weird enough, for whatever reason, we were talking about how engagement works and stuff, and
Oh, I'm sure in
if
India it's very fancy.
it was
Oh, that's right. Sarah's dating that guy from India.
right, it was I don't know why we were talking about it or how we got onto it, but it was something along the lines of being tied down for whatever reason, which was weird coming from him because he's married and he has kids right now. So
Mm-hmm.
he was talking about like, oh, I really gotta like sacrifice a bunch of stuff if I'm just gonna be with one person and whatnot. I'm like, this is really weird, dude. You're like 43 and you have two kids, but you're talking about being tied down. What? How does this make any sense?
I
You
hope you asked
Yeah, but
further.
see, I
no,
can't. That's the thing,
I
though.
didn't. It was
I
honestly so
can't really
bizarre.
speak. I can't really speak to foreign culture because I don't know anything about it. But I'm just saying, when I was talking, I was mainly referring to American
Oh
culture.
yeah,
Of
no, I get it.
course.
Just
So
yeah,
you
but I'm just
know.
saying. So I don't know. So I guess what's the answer then? It does happen, and I just don't see it
Yes.
because I'm fine with that being the
I
answer.
think it's just starting to happen because
Okay,
people are getting into accepting more things.
right. Yeah, because I was just wondering about that, and I was like, I mean, is
And
that is that fairy tale notion of
Well,
being swept off your feet and carried off into the sunset? Is that still a thing that every
Marshall
lady hopes
just
for? Because
looked it up
I
on YouTube.
imagine that's not the
It
case.
has over 30,000 results.
I'm gonna laugh because I'm also linking this to Dan, but you can literally look it up. Yeah, it is a thing that happens. Is it very
So,
common?
what are people's like responses in the comments to
I just
that?
got rid of it
That's
too.
what see. That's what I would be interested in seeing too, not just watching that, but actually like reading the comments and seeing what people have to say. I'm sure a lot of people say,
Okay, right
"Yeah, that's
here.
great that you've done that," but
Live Life Chill 2 years ago. You can't watch this without smiling. I don't believe proposing should be a gender role. It can be whoever feels that it's the right time to do whatever it to do it, whether it be the guy or girl. This was beautiful. Hope the wedding is awesome and blessed.
that's
Uh,
good. That gives me hope that people
Uh,
are accepting of
the
that.
the response is even worse. That
no,
might be the
that's
last
not. Yeah,
reply
it's the
though.
last reply. But thank you so much for the kind words, you rock. Well, a man should propose to a woman. Of course, they are some. I.
I
Mm.
don't know. Looks like an anagram.
Why does it matter? It doesn't. If you want to marry someone, but he doesn't, you shouldn't ask just because you want to. You. Oh my, jeez.
Wow.
So, I mean, there you
Mm.
go. So there is backlash against it.
Yeah, that got dark real quick. But yeah,
But see,
it's
that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. Like I just to me, I'm not saying that I'm surprised that it happens. I'm just saying that I'm surprised I don't see it more often or hear about it. Or it's just like I guess from everything and then I look at kind of, like the way, things are portrayed, gender roles and stuff, and I always thought gender roles are kind of stupid anyway. Like another thing, I could go into it all day of like how unfair it is that women are portrayed in things and such,
yeah, I can
but
tell
it is
because these past two topics have literally gone on for 40 minutes total, whereas the first one was only like 15.
I
yeah.
Yeah, we
actually
opened with the right one. That first topic was whew,
I actually didn't
rough.
expect the last one to go on for so long.
Uh huh.
Right.
Plus, we dove
Okay.
down this rabbit hole.
really far.
which I'm fine with because that's what makes the show
Oh yeah,
interesting.
me too.
And we're
Philosophical
only an hour in.
discussion is
You know,
also always interesting.
if it was the old days, we'd be like, well, we're an hour in. Let's go for
Speaking of
another
that,
hour.
I noticed that my
Now,
last show got almost the most views we've gotten within 1 week.
Nice.
hooray for us! That's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
And it's ironic too that I bring up this topic because I don't want there to be any perceptions when we do our bad dub of the game that we endorse stereotypes or anything.
Well, it's
We're
meant to be funny, so
the whole point of us
whatever
doing the
you think
bad
is
dub
funny.
is to kind of make fun of it.
yes.
Yeah,
At least
it's
for me
meant
it
to be
is.
funny.
To completely laugh and satirize it and everything cuz like that game, no offense to the guys who made it, but I can't take that game seriously. And I
Oh.
I have a feeling that the guys who made it can't even take it seriously. But I could be wrong about that.
Fair
But either
assessment.
way, but either way, we're going to be doing it not because we think that's how people should be portrayed, but because we're making fun of it because of how stupid and egregious and gratuitous some of the stuff is in it.
So,
Which begs the final question of the show, which I know you've been dying to ask me.
so this just in from The Wire, from the airwaves, the last amazing philosophical question for the great Socrates himself. The
Oh,
question of age all time.
I bet I could answer it.
What's the deal with
I have an
cat
answer
girls?
for everything.
Why?
Wait,
Just
what?
cat girls. Why?
Wait, wait,
What do you
what?
mean?
What's the deal
I'm
with
dying.
what's the deal with I didn't hear that quite clear. Do you
Cat
ask that
girls.
again? What's the deal with cat girls? Hold on.
I
What
would.
As a philosopher, I have a response for everything.
do you need research
I would.
The
material?
deal
I may provide you with some.
I would
the
rather
deal
ask
with
another
cat
question.
girls is I got nothing, dude.
Uh,
I the only okay, here's what I think. This is just wild speculation
I'm
here.
I
Okay,
literally just brought it up
okay. Because of the game.
because of last episode how
Yeah.
like I was explaining how the stuff that I've seen from the game isn't as bad as how
As
you're
bad as
as
for me it's bad.
yeah, for you it's
For
bad,
me it
but like
is.
the stuff that I've seen and I just went on a tangent of explaining something and it was something about a cat girl and you just went off. What's with the cat girls? Again, more cat girls. It's just really
Yes.
funny to me.
So yeah, no, it is and I don't understand it. Here's my guess. This is just a wild guess here. Cats are not the preferred pet, especially when compared to dogs. Why? Cats are seen as being naughty, seen as
dogs
being
are easier
seen
to love.
being they're seen as being bad.
You don't have to
They're
put as
seen
much
as
effort
being
into loving a
sly,
dog.
cunning. So now combine and for whatever reason, people seem to be very attracted to the notion of something being naughty and bad. So now
Okay.
apply that to the completely unfair
It is
view
unfair.
that many guys have towards women. So combine woman
Maybe it's Lady and the Tramp.
viewed as object of affection combined with naughtiness equals fetish, I guess. I don't know.
I was not
I got
prepared
nothing.
for today.
I that's my only guess. My only guess is that it's just that notion of ooh naughty. Oh, and it's a women too. And you know how that stuff gets. I thought it was ridiculous. Every time I see any of the crap in that game, I'm like, whoa, whoa, you didn't need to go there. You didn't need to show that.
Yeah,
That
you're
was
gonna send it to me, and I'm just gonna be like, meh, could have been better.
well, like I said, it's okay to not have an opinion on something, I guess.
We can make that a topic for our next show.
Oh,
But
Why do people like
but
pets
but
more or dogs more than cats?
I feel like you and I would be on the losing side of that argument because no matter how much I can explain how cats are good pets,
I have
people would
tried
just
explaining
would
this to
laugh in would
Marshall.
laugh in my would
He
laugh
doesn't
in my
agree with
face,
me.
spit on me, throw rocks at me,
call you a
chase me
witch and
out,
burn you at the stake.
call me a yeah, exactly.
That
So
sounds like the most
I
appropriate
feel
response.
I feel like that's a topic that we couldn't really do because no matter how much explaining I could do, and I've grown up around cats my whole life. I've had several different pet cats and they're amazing pets.
Do you
But
wish you could
there's those
have them?
people out there who will just no matter they might be the nicest person on the planet, but then when it comes to cats, they hate them with such a burning passion, and I will never understand why.
Yeah.
I just I don't get it.
If you
I
were
don't have an
able to
answer.
have them, would you get one?
And you combine that with my opinion, my other opinion, which I rarely share because there's no point in sharing it, but I'm gonna do it now anyway.
You know,
I
I
think
did
dogs.
have
I
an
think
ending segment, and I just got completely derailed. I have no clue what it was anymore.
I think dogs are a little overrated.
Huh.
I
Whoa, now,
okay.
Interesting.
They're,
whoa,
they're
whoa.
I wouldn't go that
okay.
far, but
They're
I'll
fine
accept it.
pets. They're very good pets, and you know people love them, and they're very friendly. And I've known people who have had dogs. Lots of people have, and I pet them and I play with them and everything. But if you had to say you can only have one, a cat or a dog, I would take the cat all day, every day.
So if you were allowed
That's
to
just how it is.
have
Maybe it's because
them,
I grew up with them. If I grew up with a dog, maybe I'd say cats are
I think that's what it
overrated.
is, or
It might
part
just
of
be the
it.
fact that I never had a dog. Maybe, but I'm just saying, as of right now, I feel like they're good pets, but I'd rather have the cat.
So
Just saying.
if you were
That's my
allowed to
opinion.
have a cat, you would get one?
Let's just say, like, if I go to a pet store, the first pets I'm going to look at are the cats, and then I'll look
Okay.
at the other ones
He
on
would.
display.
He would.
I've
Yeah,
actually
I
done that
was.
once before. It was like a pet store, and like they had like an adoption section, and I'm like, hey, I want to go look at the pets, and there was like, it was all dogs, and then off to the like side in the corner was this little door you could go into, and that's where the cats were, and I was like, I honestly, this is not a joke. I walked in, and I'm like, I said out loud, and people looked at me. I'm like, this is all dogs. What's with the dog? Where's the cats? And I looked over and I saw the door, and I'm like, cats! And I ran over to it. I actually said it, and
I
people
would have loved to have been
thought I was insane, but I was like, yes! And I went in
there.
there and I was like holding them and petting them for like over a half hour, I think, and playing with the cats because I love them so much.
And that's why I couldn't be a foster parent or a like volunteer at the Humane Society.
So maybe for my next apartment, I'll get one, and then I'll party like an introvert. I'll have kittens, and I'll have pizza,
Oh.
and I won't invite anyone, and I'll party. Oh wait, where have I gotten that idea from before? Have I disgusted you enough?
I definitely was not prepared for today.
Do you need a hug?
Go watch Kong Skull Island, guys. You'll be in for a nice little surprise. And
Unless you don't like
uh,
certain things,
if
nasty things.
you don't like monster movies, you probably won't like this, or like
I think
big monster
I'll
movies.
pass on it then.
But it
Deadly fights is the thing.
if I'll say this because the guy in front of us compared it to Godzilla. He said he enjoyed this more than Godzilla. So if you enjoyed Godzilla, the new one, the 2014,
Yeah, that's
15
what
or
I
whatever
heard.
it was. Yeah.
It
14,
had to be
15, 16.
14
I don't know.
because it's we had Jackson after, and we
really?
Okay.
saw it in theaters. Like maybe it was 2013,
Oh my
but it was
god!
definitely
It
before we had
it
Jackson.
was 2014. So if you liked Godzilla 2014, people are saying Kong Skull Island is better than that Godzilla.
Is
I
it
would
is it better
agree.
than the King Kong that Peter Jackson
Yes,
did?
yes. One, it's
The
not
one that
3
was
hours
like
long.
4 hours long or whatever.
Yeah.
Jacob had me
That
watch the
Two,
extended edition.
two, it stays on the island. It
Okay.
stays on the island. There are other things other than Kong on there. That's not a spoiler. You've seen in the trailers.
Did they have the famous line at the end of the movie? Were they cheesy enough to copy that?
I don't even
What
know the
was it? It
line.
was it wasn't the airplanes. It was Busey that killed the beast or something like that. Isn't that
No,
the famous
No,
line from the end of King Kong?
I have no
No?
clue. But no,
Okay. I
because
thought that
that
was
does
like
not
a really
exist in the
famous movie
movie.
line.
yeah,
Okay. Well, if you like straight up monsters fighting, go watch that movie, I guess.
I was I was just
Thrilled.
thrilled throughout that throughout a specific scene. I was just like, "Oh, get wrecked! Oh, do it, do it, do it!"
that was the end, wasn't it?
It was the end. I was
Uh,
so happy. It's
All right,
like
well, don't spoil anything
I'm not
because
going
people will
to,
send
but
some very, very angry comments your
yes,
way if you do so.
these type of movies I hold near and dear to me, and I will always enjoy them, unless it's a really crappy one. But like uh, Godzilla, the big final showdown. You know, there's going to be a big final showdown in Godzilla and whatnot. And that fight between Godzilla and the two other Mutos. Oh, I
I thought they were Mothras.
no, it wasn't Mothra. It was something completely different. But
Oh,
I just I love giant monsters, giant robots when they fight each other.
so Pacific Rim was your favorite movie of all time because it had a Sons of Anarchy feel.
They're making a second one, aren't they?
Yes.
How are they making a sequel? I just
Pro-
want to know that. I want to know how they're making a
Dude,
sequel.
dude, they made four Transformers, and that guy probably will make a fifth one.
He's making two more.
Two more. There you go. This could be a fifth and
I
a
think
sixth one.
Michael Bay
So,
movies are like explosions and nothing else. That's why
But
I
yeah, but
despise
people
myself
like
for
that
seeing
stuff,
them.
though. People like that stuff,
I
though.
have heard them called popcorn movies because people like to go and shut their brains off for 2 hours.
It's fan service, is what it is. It's nothing but big explosions, big fights,
you can't deny it.
and
We're going to see Power Rangers.
Yeah, I'm hoping I won't regret that decision.
I want to go see Power Rangers. I want to
That's
see
the
the
only
new
reason I would.
Transformers. This has been Movie
that's
Talk.
That's the only reason I want
yes.
to go see
Because we
Transformers.
can't get through a single episode
It
of this
looks
without talking
cool.
about movies or games
I
or
mean,
anything else.
That's
dude,
one of the things we like.
this is like the greatest set of 2 months ever. Cause we've had Logan and Kong, two great
I've seen
movies
neither
back
of
to
them.
back. We've got Horizon Zero Dawn,
Have not played it.
Near Automata.
Have not played it.
Which I didn't even get.
Right, we haven't gotten it yet, but people love it apparently, and there's so much
You done
coming
yet?
out this year. And there's a Call of Cthulhu game coming out. And it looks like it's going to be a horror survival type game with
Not something that interests me.
insane mechanics.
Looks like
I
there's a
hope.
kids movie with H.P. Lovecraft, Howard Lovecraft. Take it
But
how you will.
you know what? We can talk about that next episode. We're
You know
running a
what could
little
make
long.
this better?
What?
Hopefully,
If we
hopefully,
would
hopefully, I'll be able to
see
talk then.
one of the movies I wanted to see.
You wanted to
Which
see both
is
of the movies that we've seen recently.
One of the ones I suggested I meant.
which one?
Lego Batman,
Nope.
Get
Probably,
Out,
probably won't be seeing that until it comes on
and A
DVD.
Cure for Wellness, which
I have no idea what
actually
that is.
sounded like you might want to see it. It's got Jason Isaacs in it.
You have no clue who that is, Matt.
He
No,
would if I
not a clue.
mentioned his role.
So basically, everything you just described, I'm like, eh.
All right.
So if you want to know what boring old me is up to, I'm gonna be finishing up what's going to be for a while the last series of games, Lost to the Ages, and then we're gonna be doing the bad dub, and then it's game on because I'm gonna be diving into the realm of game development. So while everybody enjoys the fun stuff that's already made, I'm going to be forcing myself to
Suffer.
work hard and suffer. Yeah. But at least it's, something that I choose to do. And I got nothing else. So, thank you for listening to my philosophical points of view. If you
Very
disagree with
interesting.
me, feel free to call me out in the comments. I can take it, I promise. I know that most of my takes on this show were probably insane and not very good, and people disagree with them, but especially the
Doesn't
cats
make it
thing.
any
But
worse.
but feel free to call me out on it.
And I just was a rambling man.
At least you're not
I
a
wanna be a
rambling,
rambling
gambling man.
man. I wish I knew more of that song.
Yep. Well,
All
folks,
right, end the awkward silence. Just end the
Awkward
episode. Come on, man, end
moments.
it.
end it. I should end it.